Imagine this. You have a baby at home, healthy, curious, growing fast. And right next to the crib, there's a chimpanzee. Same age, same schedule, same toys, same food, same rules. Now here's the question nobody asks out loud. What if the chimp wins? 1931, Bloomington, Indiana. A psychologist named Winthrop Kellogg does something that would get him canceled today and probably arrested. He brings a 7-month-old female chimpanzee named Gua into his home and raises her alongside his own infant son, Donald. Same age, same food, same love, same everything. The experiment had a clean, academic-sounding name, the humanization of the ape. But what actually happened over the next 9 months was messier, stranger, and far more uncomfortable than any research paper could capture. See, people assumed the chimp would eventually fall behind. She's an animal, she'll plateau. Donald is human, he'll pull ahead. That's the neat, comforting version. Reality, Gua was beating Donald in almost every measurable skill for months. Gua learned to respond to over 90 verbal commands before Donald could even string a sentence together. She learned to use a spoon faster, she opened doors faster, she understood no faster. She even kissed on command before Donald figured out what a kiss was. Kellogg documented all of it, meticulously, obsessively, in a book called The Ape and the Child. And the data is deeply unsettling if you believe humans are special, because what it showed is this. A lot of what we call human development is actually just environmental programming. Gua, dropped into a human environment with human cues and human expectations, started running human software on chimpanzee hardware. But here's where it gets dark. While Gua was learning to be more human, Donald was drifting the other way. He started grunting, not babbling the way babies do, grunting. Chimp-style food barks, weird vocalizations Gua used. Donald picked them up because, well, she was right there, and imitation doesn't care about species. The child was learning the chimp's language faster than the chimp was learning his. Kellogg had assumed the human environment would pull Gua up. He never seriously considered the possibility that Gua might pull Donald sideways. By month 9, Donald still wasn't talking, not a single word, and the researchers quietly started to panic. So in 1932, the experiment ended, abruptly. Kellogg never fully explained why. The official reason was vague, something like the study reaching its conclusions. But the timing was obvious. His son was mimicking an ape, and it was time to stop. Gua was sent away, back to a primate facility. She died less than a year later. Some reports say from illness, others just list unknown causes. She was barely 2 years old. Donald eventually did learn to speak. He caught up, went on to become a doctor actually, a psychiatrist of all things, which is either deeply ironic or deeply poetic depending on how dark your sense of humor is. But here's the part that textbooks gloss over. Donald died by suicide in 1973. We don't know why, we can't know why, and drawing a straight line between a 9-month childhood experiment and a death 40 years later would be intellectually dishonest. But the silence around that fact, in academic papers, in psychology textbooks that cheerfully cite the Kellogg experiment as a fun historical footnote, that silence says something. What Kellogg actually discovered wasn't what he was looking for. He wanted to prove that environment shapes intelligence, and he did, kind of. But the bigger finding, the one nobody wanted to write the conclusion for, was this. Identity is fragile. The border between human behavior and learned behavior is thinner than we're comfortable admitting. Gua didn't become human, but she became human enough to fool the tests. And Donald didn't become a chimp, but he became confused enough to stop being fully Donald. We walk around assuming our humanity is some locked-in thing, that it's in the DNA, bulletproof, non-negotiable. The Kellogg experiment suggests otherwise. We spend so much time asking, can an animal learn to be like us? Maybe the more honest question is, how much of us is just conditioning, and what's left if you take it away? Gua learned to kiss on command. Donald forgot how to talk. Think about that.